What is up, guys? The Hill Twins are here
Back at it again
with another video.
and this time
We got your fan favorite. Eon's returning with his
blue black SSG
Suru Striker.
Son Goku desu. So I was hitting me up. I was asking me, hey, what's up with the blue black Soul Striker? Is there any way it evolved, etc.? So I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and put our minds to the lab and see what the Hill Twins can come up with. And funny enough, not only is it's pretty dope, but it's also pretty nuts. So I can't wait to get into the deck profile. Obviously, guys, this is Soul Striker, Reborn. Unison, 3-drop, he awakens. He can swing and untap 1 energy or draw 2 on the awaken side. 4 less life, he can awaken as well. When he swings, he untaps mono blue energy and draw a card. And then at the end of the turn, he can restand one of your Unisons.
Right.
So that's that. So we start off with him right here. So we're gonna start off with 2 Vegeta, Savior of the Future. And he is the Savior of the Future. He's one of the battle cards that you kind of just let stick around in your hand until the game gets to the critical points. Being able to invest 1 energy on 15k double strike to steal a life and to steal a game is really, really effective. Right. Especially he gets around cards like Violent Rays, etc. So your opponent don't really see him coming. Right. He's also good to help us get past those critical points where we want to take advantage of our opponent and they're they're not attacking our leader. Most of the time, right. The first 2 turns, their attacks go into leaders so that they can net draw. The second, we get a unison of other battle cards up. If they want to stagnate you, they won't attack into you. So we'll be at 6 life, at which time we can kind of push ourselves to go to 4 if we need to.
Right.
But most of the time, we don't want to. We want to play the game very safely up until
it's time to go off for game.
It's time to go off for game, and then we'll be like, you know what? I'm going to choose to go to 4.
Yeah, and he's going to do that for you.
I like it like that, but okay. We're going to do 4 super combos. No, they're not Zeno. No, they're not Sparking. These are the best super combos to me. Because we only need to use them when we have to. And we have to use super combos when we have 4 less life. If you're using them beforehand, you should be, 11, 17. We lit, we in there. Grrr. Y'all won't understand that, but Eric knows. So yeah, you use the super combos unless you're winning or when you are 4 less life and you have to defend yourself for game-ending attacks. Other than that, you shouldn't be wasting your super combos early, but you can check that out at the HillTwins Academy. Then we do, what blue deck, especially Soul Striker, without 4 grade 8 Son Goku instincts. It's just nuts. Just leader turns into a +3 when this card is in your drop. And you can play a lot of great neutral game. Get some stuff out. Pop an 8, swing, draw 2, and leave the energy open. We do 2 poutine, the Dark Sorcerer, and this deck.
This is where the deck gets a little
different,
a little broken. This is where the deck gets.
I like that. I like that word, broken, a little broken.
So obviously this is Eon's blue black deck, and so it utilizes a lot of black battle cards for their various effects and how Soul Striker can exploit them. So obviously this is a 3-drop battle card, and normally it would trigger if you were a yellow leader to arrest things, but Eon is basically tapping 3 energy for this big boy, big girl rather, and then she basically costs 1 energy, right?
Right.
Go ahead, go into it.
Yeah, so essentially that's the point. You go ahead, you tap her for 3, you swing, untap 2, you have the energy open for 8, but what have you, and she's sitting there and your opponent's like, whoa, I'm not playing against a yellow deck. I don't have to deal with poutine. And then you're like, actually, you do have to deal with poutine. If you counter, if you put in play battle cards, I'm going to control you. And she's definitely worth the investment. So people were saying that the card isn't
really
good, but y'all tripping. When you got to deal with thwartings, when you got to deal with multiple attackers that come out before their time. He's great, and he's a battle card in play, so that's also pretty nuts.
Right.
We go with 4 tapion. We run unisons, and because we run unisons, tapion is just nuts.
So what unison do you run?
Well, it's coming up, but essentially, tapion is going to be used to remove the marker from your unison, and he draws 1 card, and he's a double strike attacker. He's not unique, so that makes him very, very important at 4 because essentially I can drop multiple double strike attackers. But I do run Baby Unison. This is blue. Baby Unison is the Parasite. That's one of the Unisons that I run, and essentially you can go +2. So, and I'll get more into that when we go over to the Unisons. But essentially, yeah, just being able to Spirit Boost on any Unison for 1 energy and drawing a card, and having a 20k double strike is difficult for your opponent to metabolize. We do 4 Son Goku Calamity Challenger. I mean, yo, just being able to place a 1-drop 15k blocker. At worst, he's a 1-drop 15k attacker. In play, he allows you to protect the Unison, protect lead, sets up a lot of plays with your swing, especially when you untap in 2. You can drop that, you know, and it's just really, really effective. He's one of the protectors of the deck.
Right.
Then we do 3, send Shenron a negative energy overflow.
Oh man. This card right here is, I think, the cornerstone as to why you invented this deck.
Right. And I actually got this idea from you. You ran this card inside your Hachiyak, and you were using the Spirit Boost. And Hachiyak was just exploiting that it can play the game longer than its opponent. And, you know, with dual blockers and attackers, I'm like, wow. Eric is utilizing a card that has the pinnacle of offense and defense because it has barrier, deflect, blocker, and double strike, and essentially, you know, written up their dual attack. So, you know, you're like, hey, at worst, I can go attack, Spirit Boost, you know, make you mill 2, and now if I wanted to, I can just stand and have 2 walls that can do block if I feel like you're being too aggressive.
Right.
If not, I can be very aggressive to you, especially when you're at 4 life. And then if you attack me, go ahead. I'll block with Calamity Challenger, and then Spirit Boost again.
In this deck in particular, he's so powerful because Soul Striker on Awakened side untaps 2 energy.
Right. So
on turn 4, you can drop this guy for 4 and then attack, untap 2 energy. You have this guy here. You already have your Unison live. And now he has an activate main and a battle that allows you to Spirit Boost 1 to untap him and also mill the top card of your opponent's deck. And even that being built in is just pseudo interference. It's it's disruptive to your opponent's gameplay. You can mill out a secret rare. RNG is like really big.
And what's more is that he's the Unison Slayer. I literally use him to deal with pesky Unisons. Actually, any Unison. If you drop a Unison against him and you don't have negates or ways of blocker, etc., it's likely your Unison is gone, right? Like if you don't negate his attack, and I can redo that.
Especially against like blue, he has deflect, barrier. He can't even be eaten by blue.
Right. So I don't allow the Unisons to live. Your Unisons are not going to stay on the board.
He start dropping that card every turn, and it's just like Jesus Christ.
Right.
He actually milled me out one game too.
Actually, you guys can probably see that. But yeah, just the fact, and then being a two drop after swing just makes it way effective.
Right.
Yeah, we do 4 Trunks of God Ceiling. The reason why is you just gotta stop your opponent from getting good cards into play. You know, if it doesn't have deflect, it's gone, and that's important because 1, the Unison is the cornerstone of this deck. Having a Unison play means that this card is almost always live, and it's like, you know, you just want to out-resource your opponent. And I'm going to go a little bit more into it as the deck is displayed a little bit more. But out-resourcing your opponent is the part that you want to focus on.
Right.
We do 3. I had this at 4, but I cut it down to 3. And you can sideboard a 4th one, you know. You can definitely sideboard a 4th one if you want, but Oceanus is nuts. This card really feels like a game ender, a turn ender, especially if your opponent is a draw-heavy deck. A lot of people don't know. They don't notice how by playing their own game, they're making this floodgate so much stronger.
Right.
And as the game progresses, you know, you hold it in your hand, and you're sitting there like, hey, you have blockers. The second they do that, you drop this, and you have this on board, or you have that on board, you have potential
they just cannot eat at your wall of defense. Right. And that's another black card. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black cards so far.
We do 3 of the babies. Yo, like I said again, one of the main unisons in the deck is the parasitic unison. So essentially, just having him in play and being able to say, "Hey, I have multiple coins because you can't get through. I'm going to be able to go into units, go into leader, then use this or that to spirit boost the rest of the coins. Drop a new unison out, go +1 5." To be able to do this now on my opponent's turn and have access to a counter is absolutely nuts. And it just feels so unique to blue and yellow, you know, being able to deal with your opponent's counters, but more so having this in the form of a counter attack, counter play as well, just makes it so that it's so much more effective.
Right.
Then we go ahead and do 2 Secret Identity Mass Saiyans. This is there to deal with your opponent's battle cards.
1-drops, tokens,
right?
Vegeta, Goku and Vegeta, 1-drops and black.
Right, and you know, a lot of people say, hey, you know, you should run this unison, this overrun, that overrun, the dual attack, Bardock, etc. And it's like, why, when I have battle cards that are so precise, I can really strike you down effectively without trying hard. You know, especially in self-awakened decks. They're the ones that are most at risk of losing to this deck because they can't beat me early. It's really difficult to get the damage that you need in early just because of the way the deck is designed.
Right.
And then at such a point in the game, all my cards become so lethal, just rough. Like I said again, even that. And then I do 1 baby hatch, and that is that for the battle cards. For the unison cards, I do 4 babies. This is literally the cornerstone of the deck as far as unison goes. Just keeps your hand live. It runs the threat of your counter plays. Your counter play. And it's just beautiful when you go on +2 and then you can remove 1 on your turn, remove 1 on your opponent's turn. You back at 5. He stays the same. But, you never charge them. You never place 1 under. That's a waste. Because you're Soul Striker, he's literally a 1 energy investment after the attack if you're paying 3. So essentially, milk him as much as you can. I like to do him on turn 3. And I'll go over by turn play, like past turn 3 afterwards. But, yeah. So 2 Boo Unisons. I would run another 3-drop, but when you see him, you catch him, you hold him, you have 3 turns to find him. That's in the form of taking life, using apes, etc. So there's no need to run additional 3-drops. Boo is there to slow the game down. If the game is moving too fast and you've used him or whatever, you can abuse him, or if they work to remove him, you can drop him, and he's just a placeholder for a turn. He's going to allow you to block, he's going to allow you to remove a battle card, he's going to allow you to abuse this. And then afterwards, if he's back on your turn and you have 1 coin, you go ahead, draw your card, which ensures your untapped swing. Then you can go swing, Spirit Boost, get rid of him, drop this guy because that's the one you want, or Spirit Boost such and such. So
and he's also really good with the 1 untapped and 1 energy, because you always have an energy up towards Oceanus.
Right.
Another thing is when you ulti, you can't use Oceanus for free, but if you have 2 energy, you can Oceanus. If someone tries to counterplay Oceanus so that she doesn't come in, now you have the counter here for
and
there.
Again, guys, Oceanus stops turns because of
she's just like another baby hat.
She stops turns. And if you take the Oceanus challenge, you're gonna fail. Yeah. Trust me. We got videos up.
Do you not see these right here?
You're going to fail. And then for our extra cards, we run obviously 4 Senzu Bean. Senzu Bean attached to this guy's nuts. It readies up additional plays, especially
turns where if you want to go crazy, you can summon him for 4 on turn 4 and attack 2 with leader, and then you can attack with him, throw 2 beans on him, and then you have access to him being at 30k. You can untap him, attack again, and then you can summon another one of those, and you'll have access to 2 blockers on your turn. That's barrier.
And that's if you want to just exploit your opponent. They're in a spot where, they just can't afford to deal with that. A spot where, you have that opening to abuse them. Go ahead and do it. But it's just pretty nuts, especially also even on the defense, being able to do that and just dropping this and say, hey, I don't have to guard you and restand again, block again. You know, 25k blocker feels great.
Right.
Obviously, we have our 4 D-Magics. D-Magic, because we're running this, sometimes we can do it that way. Also having the blockers up for that.
D-Magic just basically says it doesn't matter if I Oceanic you, you're not getting through. If I don't have that, then I can take the Spark in, untap the 2 energy, and have the 2 energy for the Oceanic. And yeah.
And what's more about the D-Magic is that, you know, sometimes you'll be at 5 or 6 life, and your opponent is attacking you, and you have the sparking, and you're like, hey, you know, I'm ready to start attacking you back and start trying to close out this game. So essentially now you're like, hey, I could pay the energy, but you know what, I'll sparking instead, ready up 2 energy, have access to something like that to close out and move yourself to 4 life. So it's very difficult, especially in tandem with this, and the fact that your opponent has to attack into your leader to get value a lot. And then the last 4 cards are 4 Ultra Instinct Goku's Kamehameha. And these cards are absolutely bonkers. I mean, for one, before we even talk about the offensive capability, the defensive capability, just being able to untap, you have 2 or 3 or even 4 of this, you can add 60k to your leader defensively. A lot of times people try to combo out. If I have lots of this in the super combos, you're not beating me. And that's off of 1 energy. Just 1 energy turns into 60, 70k off 1 energy outside of any super combos, which is kind of nuts. But offensively, it just keeps your hand big. It's a 1 card investment. Your opponent has to super combo twice over it, especially with cards like this. You throw a bean on it, and then you add that. You don't even have to super combo. It just feels so crazy, the heights that you can get. And when they're at 4 or less life, and you're at 4 or less life, and you have your super combos ready, you can just go swing at leader. And they have to deal. If they don't negate the attack, you're going in. And then you can go swing at leader. You know, so this deck
becomes very lethal. Even with the 1-drop, there are times where you get like turn 4 or 5, and you chop 1 for him, and you can go ahead and swing, take the life. He's double strike. Now you can throw 2 of these bad boys on him,
super combo,
beams on him, super combos on him. They try to kill him during the battle. You got God selling the check, whatever. It just is so much, and it's just really powerful.
So this is the list. It plays a crap ton of neutral game. You know, this is obviously your turn 3. You know, so turn 3 you go to 5. I like to drop this on turn 3 after I awaken. Then turn 4 I'll drop this, especially on the games where this is really effective. Swing and then untap, have the energy open for the ape. Turn 5 you can drop this. If you need this to come out earlier, you can always do that.
Or even poutine can come out turn 3. Especially if you awaken on like 6 or 7 life. Poutine can come out, you can bean and just bring her out, and they have to find an effective way of removing her, but she's barrier. So if they don't, then you know, you sit there and you're good. And you know, it's just super powerful. It's really cohesive, and it doesn't clash with each other.
No, it doesn't. And as you guys are gonna be able to see on our channel, some of the matches that went up. You know, just be patient with this deck. It won't fail you if you're patient. You know, learn how to, you know, take the hits and just recover. There's a way out of every situation, as you guys can go through our catalog and see with this deck, all the matches that's been played with this deck. It's extremely powerful tool. Hope you guys really enjoy it.
And last quick too, this is a barrier out, which is really good. And then this is another notable card.
Notable mention.
Sideboard or
what have you. So you can like enter exchange. Depending on your play style. If you feel like, hey, locals or at a tournament, they have a lot of barrier heavy, especially like Lord Slug or what have you, you can go ahead and drop this. But, I mean, even attacking into it with this is just rough. They have to, you know, you just kill barrier cards. If it's in rest mode, you can kill it.
Using. So, shout out to TCG Metals. This is a beautiful Soul Striker leader. Thanks to Chris Anderson. Go check it out. Get your metal leaders. Very, very, very dope, beautifully designed leaders.
Also, sorry, notable mention, which you guys all should also know, 10-drop full, obviously.
Right, yeah. So
we're not playing 10-drop full against one another because
I'm not trying to get to we're not trying to be too competitive right now against one another, but in locals it will be in the deck.
Right. So this is the deck. Hope you guys enjoy it. As always,
stay super.